Good morning, FlossTube. My name is Stephanie and I am the New England Stitcher, and I currently live in Rhode Island with my family. I am a teacher and a cross stitcher and a quilter, and I want to say thank you for joining me on this Sunday morning. It is Nope, not January. It is February 25th. It is my last day before I have to go back to work. I just was able to have a week off because of February vacation. So nice. I think everybody just needed that little break, and yeah, I just can't wait to get started with you. This is my second time filming this video, so let's hope it saves the video this time because it did not the first time. Yeah, so let's get started talking about some of my projects that I've worked on during this break. So first thing that I did was I started this. This is a pattern by Teresa Kogut. It's a free pattern. She had it released. It was a Nashville freebie in 2020. And you can get it on Teresa's website. I believe the Fat Quarter Shop also has it on their website. And I am stitching it on the mesh bags from the Fat Quarter Shop, and I'm loving it. I did this once before, so it's kind of funny for me to call it a start when I've already done it once. So to me, it's just a whip, but it's a new start. You haven't seen it yet. And I'm a middle starter typically for this one, especially because I want to make sure it's centered. But it's create every day. I'm going to do it in primary rainbow colors, and this is going to be a smalls exchange for an upcoming retreat. So very excited about that. My next start, and close, it's not finished, but it's close. It's by Luminous Fiber Arts, and it's called Gathering Clovers. And this was released in 2021 by Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty Purcell, and I purchased this along with the other ones that were released last year at market. So I'm considering myself participating in Helen D's market sell. So I did get this last year at market time, so I'm finally starting it. So I feel like even though I'm not officially, but I am stitching along with Helen D all my market releases from last year. So here it is, and I am stitching it with the called for Belle Soie, which is collard greens. And the fabric that I'm using is Vintage Smoky. It's a 32 count printed, it's a printed 32 count printed fabric, and I believe it is Vintage Smoky. I got this with Emma and Brandy when we went to the Crafty Gromolkin. I am going to put some vintage buttons that I have there, but I love it. It's just going to be a little pillow, but I love how it's coming. Yes, for those of you who are inspecting my work, there is a little flub up right there. I am short. The leg is one stitch short. It's okay. I'll fudge that one. That one's not going to be a big deal. But anyway, I'm loving it. It's so nice. It's easy. The silk is lovely to stitch with. It is being stored in my cow, Wibakipa. And those are my starts. Okay, friends, it is time for my whips. So this week, or these 2 weeks, I've only had 2 whips that I've been working on. Both were February calls from my Boss Me board. And in case I forgot to mention before, Boss Me is Boston, the Boss Stitchers, and Maine, Missy and Kathy, the 2 needles pulling thread. So Boss Me is that combination. It's just like WhipGo, except instead of having only whips, it can be clean your craft room, make a project bag, send Stitchy Kindness, do something nice. So I'm loving this board. So my 2 calls for February were Honey of a Tiny Town and Bluebirds of Happiness by JBW. So here's what I've got accomplished. Now I still have a few more days in February, which I need. So here is the Honey of a Tiny Town. This was released last year. I scooped it up as soon as it was released, and yeah, I I believe it was a market release, and I got it. So I'm happy that I'm actually stitching another market release. I just showed you my Gathering Clovers, so now I'm happy that I can share another one with you. And here's what it looks like. I'm stitching it on Vintage Country Mocha, 32 count. I'm stitching 1 thread over 2. I'm using the silk conversions from Hive Rules by Vicki Clayton, and I also added some other NPI silks that I had just so I could get a little bit more color. So yeah, so that is my Honey of a Tiny Town. It is being stored and kept in my bee Whippakeepa. My thread bed is a hot mess, but that's okay. That's what I like to use. All right. Next whip is going to be, sorry, knocking things over. In case I forgot to mention, I'm down here by myself this time, and it's a little daunting, ladies. Folks that do it by themselves, God bless you. I'm missing my family right now. I need them, but it's okay. I'm going to motor on. So here is my Bluebirds of Happiness. In case you haven't seen it, this was released, I think it was released last year. It was a Stitch Away event piece, and then you could only get it through keepsakes, but I just fell in love with it. I love those bluebirds. I just like the sentiment. It's very reminiscent to me of the 1980s Laura Ashley, which I loved. And here's what it looks like. I'm stitching it in the Victoria Clayton silks, and I am stitching it on the called for Atomic Ranch Freeze fabric, and there it is. The letters here are a little bit light. I know Jamie, from the Pink Stitchers, she was stitching it also, and she actually finished, and it looks amazing. So great job, Jamie. She went and chose her own colors, and her blues show perfectly. I'm a little regretful that I didn't use the darker blue for the words, because this is a little bit hard to see, but it'll be okay. It's going to go in my bedroom. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So this, just so you know, this is being stored in my, oh, here are the flosses, in case you want to see. They are very pretty. I did take my Victoria Claytons off the rolls. The rolls kept going everywhere, and the cats decided they wanted them too, so I felt like it would be smarter to put them on floss drops. So this is in this Whippakeepa. It's a large one that I've made. So yeah, so that is my whips. All right, folks, I do not have any finishes, but I do have some fully finished projects, which I'm so excited to share with you right now. So I believe you remember how difficult this one was for me to stitch, and I think a few of you had mentioned that you also had some fudges and some mistakes, and that makes me feel better. So thank you for sharing that with me. Valentine's Quaker, love this. But did it give me some trouble? Yes. But I'm so happy to report it's done. It's done. It's done. And here it is. I made it into a little pillow, and I'm going to share a little trick that for my trim. So I didn't have any chenille, and this kind of looks like it's chenille, but it's not. And I can't wait to show you what I did. So I just put a light pink striped fabric I have on the back. I did just stuff it with polyfilm. And I'm fine with that. Sometimes I'll use the walnut shells, sometimes not. But so for my hack for chenille, if you don't have any, I had this ribbon from Michael's, I think, or Joann's, one of them, and the Hobby Lob, or the Lob, as the ladies like to say. It looks like this. And what I did was I took it and I folded it in half, and then I stitched it down. So I went right along this edge and I stitched it down, and then I used it on the inside as trim so that this part would stick out, and when you squish it together a little bit, it looks like chenille. So I'll show you it again on the pillow. So I thought that was a clever way to you know, get the look I was looking for, and even though I didn't have what I wanted, I was able to pull together something that looks good with what I had. So anyway, think of when you're in your craft room, take a look around and see if you can use something you already have in a different way. That would be my hack on this one. So I love it. Very happy with this. All right, my next finish is another pillow. And I showed this right before Valentine's Day, I think, or I was stitching it for Valentine's Day. This is the Arrow Celebration. It's by Hello from Liz Matthews. It's a free pattern on her website. And I did not do it in the blue. If you recall, excuse my nose, it's a little drippy. I did it in red. And I used Forbidden Fiber Arts. Is that right? Forbidden Fiber Co. floss, and I believe it's called Poinsettia. It was a leftover from the Taylor Swift Eras Red that I had. So I just used what I had in my stash. And then I used some rickrack that I had left over because I got a bunch of it at 4th of July. And then I used this fabric on the back. It's by Minnick and Simpkins. It's an old fabric. I just got a fat quarter bundle once a long time ago. And it just had it, so I thought it went really well with it. This one is stuffed with polyfill, but it also has inside some crushed walnut shells in there. So, love it. And I had, so this is, like I said, the second time I'm recording this. And I mentioned before, so this isn't my husband liked this pillow, and here's why. I have my Doble on the mantle right below the TV. And I like to put things on the mantle. And my husband does not like when I do that because a lot of times it covers that bottom part of the TV, and he's missing out on something. At Thanksgiving, I have this sign, and it's probably like 8-inch letters, and they're thick, chunky wood letters that say thankful, because at Thanksgiving we're thankful. And whenever he sees it, he's like, oh God, because it does block the bottom of the TV. So when I came upstairs the other day, when I finished this and I showed him, he was like, oh, I'm so happy that it's a smaller size. Like, he's like, oh good, it doesn't block the TV. So he's a very supportive person, except for when it blocks the TV of my cross stitch. This is a finish. I'm so happy I finally got this done. I'm a little late to the game, as always, but it's okay. Better late than never, right? So this was a sew along from December with Nicole Spohr. It's called Snow Magical. It's by Brenda Gervais with iNeedle. And here is my finish. So exciting. So I laced the back. I put the trim around it. I painted and glued the pieces together. I did a little scuffing up on the edge. And then I had these picks that I cut apart from parts of it from Michael's or something from last year. So yeah, I love it. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy it's done. And it all came together, like, just like, I love when that happens. It just makes you so happy. So I was finishing up I was finishing gluing the foofy frilly part, as Laura likes to say. I was gluing that up last night when I was talking with Brandy and Emma, and I got to show them because I was so excited. All right, and my last finish. This is going to get shipped out and mailed to my Blackbird Smalls person tomorrow. And so this is what it looked like. It's a Blackbird Smalls. It's called Autumn Sound. It's from the Winds of Autumn Blackbird book. Here it is again. And I saw this and said, I'm going to do that. And I did. And here it is. Ladies, gentlemen, so excited. So I got these pins from Stitch New England. They're a Mani Dodonna, and they're oak, and I thought perfect because the acorns. I laser cut this little acorn, and then here's the fabric. So this is an old fabric line by Corey Yoder, but it matches the color of the cadet perfectly, and it's got the acorns and the oak leaves. The bottom is that tealy, but it's from that same line. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so impressed with my stitching, and I know it's silly to say, but I am. I just love this piece, and I'm so proud of it. There is one fudge up, and I will share it with you. See that this little wrinkle here? I guess I didn't stuff it enough. I know everybody says stuff it till you can't stuff it anymore, and then stuff some more. I tried stuffing a bunch. So I did the puffy stuff, the fiberfill first, and I did like maybe a ½ inch of it. And then I dumped a ton of walnut shells inside, and then I kept putting more and more, and then I did polyfill on the bottom so that at least when I was stitching the bottom, the poly would keep the walnut shells at least keep it in and not like pulling out as I was sewing. But I finished this up on Friday, and I can't wait for the person to get it. I hope she loves it as much as I love it, and then I can't wait to make it for me. But yeah, so this is an old collection that I was saving, and it was the perfect one. And then just a little bit of rickrack here, not to cover my stitches because my stitches actually looked good, which I was, again, not, I did follow a video on and learned how to do an invisible stitch. That was a little bit of a challenge, but I did do it. So videos are helpful. And I just want to say thank you to Vonna Pfeiffer and Helen D for their amazing tutorials. If you ever have to make a drum, go watch their tutorials. They are incredible and they are helpful. And I could not have done it without them. Truly, like, Vonna and Helen, you are amazing and you're pros at what you do. So thank you so much for your tutorials, because I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Stitchy Kindness. This community, if I have not said it enough, I just wanted to say, is absolutely incredible. This community's generosity and support, and I have received, I just want to say thank you. Over this vacation, I received a couple packages from some amazing viewers that had reached out and said, I have some things for your students. Would you share your address so that I can mail them to you? And I did, and they did. And I came home on Tuesday to 2 packages that I just couldn't even imagine that would be delivered. So I didn't ask their permission, except one I did, but the others I didn't. But I'm just going to mention their first names. Claire, Olive, and Michelle. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your kindness. I know my students are really going to appreciate everything you've given, but I just want to quickly share with you guys what they sent. So one of them sent a huge roll of 14 count fabric. Another one sent this entire huge box of old patterns, of fabric, of some towels that you can stitch on, but all things that are amazing that my students are going to love. And some of them are completely kitted, and I just can't wait to share these things with them on Tuesday. So thank you very much for that. Another friend sent more fabric, also hoops with scissors, little pouches for more students to join my club. Entirely just incredible. And then this person, this is from Lynn. So Lynn hand delivered this bag full of, I can't see it, there's a bunch on the bottom too, full of 14 count fabric for my students. And I got to meet Lynn in person. So Lynn, her birthday was on Saturday, a week ago Saturday, and her boyfriend had said, you know, what do you want to do for your birthday? And she said, I would like to go to Stitch New England. So she went to Stitch New England. She was going to leave these things there with Pam, and I would pick them up. We had talked about this. And then Pam told her that my shop, it was Saturday, I was working at the quilt shop, and so she drove the 15 minutes extra to hand deliver them to me. And she walked into the store, and just the smile, like the fact that somebody would do that, you know, she already drove like an hour and change from where she lives to go to Stitch New England, and then she drove 15 minutes more just to come and give these to me for my students. It's amazing. So Lynn, thank you so much. I was fortunate to, like I said, I got to meet her. I took a picture with her, and I'll insert that here. But thank you so much, and thank you to the other ladies for just sharing their stuff with me so that I can pass it on to the girls. In case you don't know, and I didn't say, I have a cross-stitch club with my partner teacher Sarah. We originally purchased materials. We were going to have 10 kids so that we could each take 5 to teach. And we ended up purchasing enough materials originally for 20 students, and then we had 3 that were extra, so we bought more stuff. And we don't get paid for it. We just do it because we love it, and we want to, the kids love it, and they're excited for it. And we're just happy that, 23 students want to do it. And now we have actually a couple more kids that are joining. So these pouches and hoops are going to be so helpful to allow us to expand and allow more students into our club. So yeah, that being said, just thank you. I don't know how else to say it. I really do appreciate everything. And they sent these lovely little cards along with them, and it just means so much. So anyway, I can't wait to share their reactions, and I'll share some pictures. We meet again on Tuesday, so I'll share some pictures from that. But for an update on the club, I will. I think I have a couple pictures of students' projects and where they finished before break, and they did come and see us before vacation so they could get extra supplies so they could stitch more over vacation. And that just means a lot. Now they're not on their phone playing video games or whatever. I mean, not that there's something wrong with that, but it's nice that they want to learn how to do something else, and you can, still watch. I watch YouTube while I'm stitching, and they could watch whatever while they're stitching, but at least they're learning something and creating, and they're going to have a skill that they can have forever. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I did get a happy mail from a viewer, and she accidentally ordered 2 of Let Love Rain. And I've been there, I've done that. I did that with a Blackbird book, and passed it on to a YouTuber before I was a YouTuber to share with their viewers. So she was lovely enough to send this to me, Wilma. I put her name on the back. So she said I could keep it if I hadn't already had it, and I don't, so I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to stitch it. I do want to stitch this flower basket. I think it's incredible. And then once I'm finished, I'll pass it on. So this will be something that it's going to happen, in the future. Who knows when, but it will happen, and I will, and then I will pass it on. But Wilma, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to think of me and to pass this to me. I really appreciate it. Plans. What are your plans? Well, my plans, Boss Me, the new numbers for March just were called. So my plans for March are going to include these 2 things. The first one is something I already had started, and this is by the Primitive Hare. It's called Halloween This Way, and it is in a vinyl bag that I made myself. And here's what I've got done. I started this last year, and I'm using the called for fabric, and I had started outlining these signs so that when I was at Stitch New England, which was my first retreat, I would be able to fill in. And in case, I'm sorry, it's not ironed. I forgot about this one. In case you can tell, there's not a whole lot of fill-in that got done at Stitch New England because I did a lot of talking and I did a lot of shopping, but that's what retreats are for. So my goal for March is to continue to outline the boxes. So I will finish filling in, sorry for my weird, like I said, I forgot that this wasn't here. I'm going to go up and finish the sign. I'll finish what's in here, and then I'll keep moving on. And that way, this will just, I think this is just going to maybe be my retreat piece because it's just perfect fill in. It's 30 count. I can see it with or without magnification. Yeah, I think it'll make sense to keep that in there as my my retreat fill in piece. And maybe in 5 years it will be done. And that's okay. No problem. No worries. So that is something I'm going to spend 5 days on for March. The other thing that I'm going to spend 5 days for in March, I'm very excited about, is by Twin Peaks Primitives. Twin Peak Primitives. And it is the Pride and Prejudice sampler. Okay, it's got Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. It's got the house. It's got my favorite quote, which is, "You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you." So anyway, this is going to be stitched. I have it currently in a keeper, not a keeper, sorry, a project bag made by me, but I'm going to be transferring it into this whipper keeper that I made over vacation. And I just love it because it's made with the fabric. Here's Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy. Here's the quote, why can't I read? I can't read. "You must allow me to tell you how much I adore, and I'm sorry, I admire you," whatever. I forget, but anyway, and love you. It's right there. And then on the back, it says, "I thought only of you," which is what he says to her also. And it's got the peacock. And then there's the fabric. So I did a combination of a patchwork and the front because I really loved how this replicates cross stitch, right? It's all looks like a sampler. So yeah, I love this fabric. I love this fabric line. Here it is on the inside. Blue is my first favorite color. Yellow would be my second favorite color. So I'm going to transfer it in there. I'm going to make a working copy of this so that I can fold it and put it in here. I could have made a bigger keeper, but for me, I like the smaller ones. I feel like I can just travel with them better. So anyway, those are my plans. So I was on a Zoom call last night with Brandy and Emma, and we just sometimes get together and just chat about whatever and stitch and and I told her last night that I would show you guys my very first cross stitch that I did, which is a stamped piece, and I made it for my daughter Lily. Her name is Lillian, and here it is. It was ordered from Amazon. I ordered it during COVID, and I was like, I can do this. So it's on 14 count. All the colors that came with the kit, because it was a kit, it was stamped, and then you have to wet it and wash, rinse off the dye after, and then this is what it looks like. But yeah, can't show you the back because it's already sealed in there, but you know, I'm not embarrassed of it. I'm proud. I'm proud that I finished it, right? That's what we should be proud of, is that we finished it. It doesn't matter how you get started. It's just that you do get started. So don't be embarrassed if you're doing counted cross stitch, stamped cross stitch. There's nothing wrong with it. This is an adorable little kitty, and it goes perfect in her room. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I also wanted to share, because I was in her room getting this, and in case I forgot to mention, Lillian's my daughter, the younger one, and she's the one who actually does cross stitch with me. She likes to cross stitch. But this one I made for her after market last year. These were my market purchases that as soon as they came in, stitched them right up and got them done. Sorry, it's upside down. But it's called Float Like a Butterfly, Sting Like a Bee. And this is I believe it's a Muhammad Ali quote that he said, but she loved it so much because it reminded her of Float Like a Cadillac, Sting Like a Beamer, which is from her favorite movie when she was a little girl. She loved the movie Cars. Lightning and Mater, those were her guys. She loved them so much. There was a point where I knew the entire movie word for word. But anyway, sorry for the glare. You can see my sewing machine in the background. But so Float Like a Butterfly, Sting Like a Bee. I thought about actually changing it to Float Like a Cadillac, Sting Like a Beamer for her. But I love all the brightness in the colors. I love how the two came together, because if you have not stitched this and you want to, they did put out a pattern that showed you how to stitch them together, and I thought that was just perfect. So I did, and I finished it, and it's now hanging in her room, and I stole it when I stole she was sleeping this morning when I started filming, well, planned on filming, so I went in and grabbed it. But those are in her room, and I actually passed on the pattern to my sister-in-law because she liked it so much she might stitch it too. So those were previous finishes, and one about market, and I figured that that would lead me right into my market purchases. I know you're all probably like dying to hear about my market purchases, but yeah, so I did have some. I purchased from 2 stores. I purchased from the Crafty Grimalkin in Maine, and I purchased from Pam Stitch New England, because I want to share my stitchy love with both those shops. So from the Crafty Grimalkin, I purchased the Erin Elizabeth flag pattern and the dinky dies that go along with it. I also purchased the 3 Fiber on a Whim fabrics. I purchased them in 36 count, except one I could only get in 32, and I don't remember which one. I purchased all 3, Moonstone, Malachite, and Sapphire. Loving those colors. I think they did a great job. I can't wait to get them. From Stitch New England, I purchased Primrose Cottage, 4th of July Rules, and the Quaker. I also purchased Heart and Hands, Frosty Tiny Town. That Frosty Tiny Town is my favorite tiny town. I love it so much. I kind of want to stop stitching the bee and the seashore and jump right to that one because I love it so much. The other thing I purchased was Plum Street's Stars and Shakespeare's Peddlers and Stripes. Stars and Stripes. And I'm going to blame Vonna Pfeiffer. Thank you for enabling me on that one. I didn't realize that they went together. I don't know how I missed it, but I love them. I did find out from Brandy that they were previously available on the Kitten Stitchers website, and I guess I just missed them. But I'm looking forward to putting them in my dough bowl to see about torturing my husband with that. Because they're small. They're going to be small, so that's fine. But I'm excited for those. There's so many more though. I mean, I really had to restrain myself. And kudos to you if you did not purchase any patterns for the market releases. I know for sure those are ones I'm going to stitch probably right away because they are season, like 4th of July. Like all of those are 4th of July except for Frosty. But the rest of them are, and I will definitely get to them sooner rather than later. But ink circles, there's a green one with that color variegation, which was gorgeous, and blue flower. I mean, wow, there were so many, and it was hard to choose which ones I wanted to start, but I knew I would start the 4th of July first, so that's why I purchased them, so I'd be able to possibly have them on display this year. That's a goal. I did already have I already have finished all of Primrose's rules. I have all of them done and all of them finished, so I know I'll have that one. I know I want to get that one done because I'm going to do the same frame on the magnets because that's what I have for the other 3. And then I think I'm going to have to modify the pattern slightly to make sure it'll fit in there, but that's okay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So those are my market purchases that I wanted to share with you. And so there's something that I wanted to share with you because I was talking with Erin Elizabeth, and I was on a Zoom with her and a few other people. And I'm not trying to name drop or anything like that, just a group of people that we like to get together and stitch with. A lot of us are from the Jingle Ball, that group that we kept together. And there's a few new people in it. But one of the things we were talking about is being a thread licker or using wax. And we were talking because they'd never seen this, and Erin suggested that I show you, so I'm going to show you now. And maybe it's wrong, but this is how I don't lick my thread. I mean, I have, and if I have to, I will, but I don't tend to lick my thread. But what I do is I use beeswax, and I'm sorry it's dirty. It's dirty because the thread fibers get in there. But what I'll do is see how this is curled up? I'll use it on my face so you can kind of see it curled. What I'll do is I'll take the thread and I'll just do the end, and I just use my thumb to hold the thread in place. And now you can kind of see it straight up. And then it makes it very easy to Can you see that? I'm threading my needle. So it went right in. And then what I do is once it's threaded, I just trying to give you guys so you can kind of see it. So there, it's because of the wax, it's able to stand kind of straight up. And then I just do like a little twist here, and it keeps it from coming off. So when I'm stitching, it doesn't fall off the needle. So that wax, and then that's the, I only did like the end. And so then what I'll do is when I get close to the end, that's the part I cut off. So if the wax had anything in it that could hurt the thread, I don't know. It's just natural beeswax. So that's how I thread my needle. That's how I twist it so that when I pull, it doesn't come out. And I can get a lot of stitching done without having to keep rethreading the needle. So I don't know if that's helpful to you or not, but that's just what I do. I don't know if it's wrong because I'm new to cross stitch and I know there's probably 1,000 rules, but that's just what I use my beeswax for, and I wanted to share that with you because some of you might like it, and some of you, if you have a problem with the needle always coming off the thread, that little trick has helped me a whole lot. So I just wanted to share it, and thank you, Erin, for telling me to share it because I would have forgotten to do that. So anyway, thank you for that. Okay, as I said before, the diet is over. Yes, the pattern diet. The pattern diet is over. I think I've learned that I am a person that can't have, you tell me not to, you can't have, like, you can only have one. And I mean, yes, one thing, some things are great in, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, but moderation. Yes, some things are good in moderation, like desserts. But patterns, I don't know why. I don't understand the mental behind it, but as soon as you said you can only have one, I wanted them all. I wanted them, and like I've started obsessing. I kept looking, well, if I can only have one, what am I going to get? And then I wanted more. Long story short, the diet is over, and I need to listen to my friend Chris, the camping stitcher, and just say, I need to stop giving up things. So I need to give up, I need to give up giving up things. That's what she says. And I guess I just need to do that because it's not a big deal when I didn't put these restrictions on myself. And now that I did, now it's a hot mess express. So anyway, so like you know, if you've been here for the last few videos, I spend Saturdays working at a quilt shop, Blackstone Quilting Company in Cumberland, Rhode Island. They're awesome. This is not sponsored. It's just, that's where I work. Anyway, they sell fabric and they also sell patterns. Well, they started carrying, maybe because I work there and I cross stitch, maybe because they like it too. But Robin Pickens is a fabric designer that has amazing fabric that I absolutely love. And like I loved the fabric before I knew it was her. So that now that I know it's hers, it means more. But anyway, so I'm, going to the store, looking around, what's new? And here's what I see. I see this. And it's called Pine Crossings. It's by Robin Pickens. Right there. There's her name. And I fell in love with it. And I was like, I have to have it. It's not a huge, it looks bigger in the booklet, but it's not. It's 129 by 94. So it's not crazy big. I think that would fall in a medium category. Is it going to get stitched this year? No. But will it get stitched? Yes. Yes. It's very modern. And I know that I think I just like everything. I like Prim. I like samplers. But I just saw this and I was like, yes, I had to have it. So anyway, it will get stitched at some point. The other one, well, there's two more, but this one is, I just found out that this one is like it's got a whole bunch of friends. So I like stitching seasonally. Well, this is the Seasonal Courier Cardinals Winter that she had come out with. And she has 3 more that are spring, fall, and summer. Summer's my favorite. I mean, this one's amazing, but wait till you see summer. I did go on her website because I was like, maybe I should get the PDFs, but I'm going to restrain myself and I'm going to get them because I now know that they're available as a PDF. I could get them when I'm ready to stitch them. So maybe this summer I'll start the summer one, but I do like to stitch seasonally. I love this bird. I thought it's awesome. And I will insert the pictures of the other 3 here. And then lastly, this is what I'm more excited about. This I'm going to start like soon. I went and got all the floss I needed for it, but wait, just wait. Okay, here's the pattern. So here's what I like about it. These are ornaments that I'm going to stitch on perforated paper. Yes, I'm going to stitch. This is my first perforated paper stitch, people. Perforated paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch them up, and then she has this fabric that's called Winterly, and her fabric line comes out in the spring. Yes, it comes out in the spring. And when her fabric comes out, sorry, I'm plugging my computer, it fell asleep. When it comes out, the line, wait till you see it, it's awesome. But one part of the collection is a red colorway and a green colorway. I know I'm not making sense, but I will try to remember to insert a picture of it here. But it actually echoes this shape, that diamond, and she sized it so that this size on 14 count is the same as the printed fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch it up on the perforated paper. I'm going to take that fabric when it comes in. I'm going to put some heat and bond or steam a seam, something, you know, the double-sided fusible. Once I get it seamed in, cut it out, and then seam it to the back, iron it to the back of this. It's an ornament. It's okay. I'm going to cover the stitches. It's fine. And then I'll have an ornament, and I think it's going to be so fun. And I can't wait. I think they're going to stitch up really quickly, and I love how bright they are. But you could prim them down if you like prim. I don't know. I just feel like it's such a cool thing. The shape is really neat. And look, on the back, if you didn't want to do the diamond, you could just do the triangle. I mean, how cute is that little bird in just a little triangle? And it's a shape, like I said, that you don't normally see on your Christmas tree. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. And, because if you've never heard of Robin Pickens, maybe you're going to want to. But don't buy all the fabric, because I want some too. So, FYI. All right. So that is, sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I was just excited. So those are the ones that I purchased at Blackstone Quilting Company. All right. Now, I was chatting with my friends, Emma and Brandy. Emma, you're doing a great job, kid. Keep it up. Brandy, I know. We're the same. We enable each other, and that's fine. It's okay. We've already understand each other for that. But on Thursday, it's the 29th of February. It's leap year, right? I'm going to participate in Chris the Camping Stitcher's Leap Year Sale. This is what I'm going to be stitching because I feel I could do it, and it's doable if I have the 4 years. So here's what I'm going to do. Symphony of Friendship. Okay. I don't know how the rest of you feel. I tried to get the girls to do a sal with me, but they're like, only if you stitch the tree. That tree is going to be a lot, but I'm really excited about it. I love all that work. I'm trying to get it so the glare isn't on the plastic, but the work in the tree, like all those color switches, I think it's going to be beautiful. I really do. I love it so much. So I'm going to be stitching it on 20 count because this year I'm turning 49, so next year I'll be 50, right? Who knows what the state of my eyeballs are going to be? Who knows if I'll still be able to stitch on 40 with men? Who knows, right? So I'm going to do it on 20 because I want to make sure I can finish this and it's not going to just sit in a pile and not be unfinished. So I'm going to do it on 20 count. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it on Mellow Stone by Atomic Ranch or if I want to do it on Vintage Country Mocha. Haven't decided. This Vintage Country Mocha is a little bit darker than what's showing in the picture. This one, that's why I have this one here. I don't know. All the colors seem to show up on both, so I think it's just going to come down to what I prefer. So we'll see. We'll see where that happens, where that's at. So that's going to get started on Thursday, February 29th. And right now it's just stored in a vinyl Tulip Pink Dragonfly keeper, zippered project bag. Ugh, words are hard, people. So sorry. Okay. While I purchased that from the Crafty Grimalkin, and while I was purchasing, again, things cannot travel alone, I decided to get, we have a couple sals that we are going to be doing with Brandy and Niecy. Niecy Stitches on Instagram. She doesn't have a YouTube yet, but she's really a lot of fun, and she does amazing things. And one of her projects was actually featured in Teresa Kogut's book, a spring book that she just released for market. So she's awesome. Good Intentions by Kathy Barrick. I mean, it's lovely. And I love the saying. I think that's what I'm more drawn to. I mean, I'm drawn to the bird too. But the saying, I myself am made entirely of flaws, stitched together with good intentions. Because isn't that true about all of us? Like, we don't mean to hurt anybody. We don't mean to do, yeah, we want things to, we have all good intentions. And yeah, we are full of flaws. And I definitely know I'm not perfect. I make lots of mistakes. You should look at the quilt behind you. Lots of mistakes in there. But, so that we're going to stitch at the Library Stitch Retreat. And then this is the other one we're stitching at Library Stitch Retreat. And this is Violet's Blue by Blackbird Design. And we're going to be doing this one right here, which is just beautiful. It says, as the violets blue, nope, can't read that. Got to go to the actual book inside. As the violets blue, my heart is true, dear sweetheart. I love but you. So, I think it's really sweet. Will I stitch the words? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'll put something else. Maybe I'll put a name. I don't know. But it's just really pretty. Blackbird always does a great job. So yeah, that's Violet's Blue. So that was something we're going to be stitching at the retreat. The next one, this is going to be stitched at Stitch New England in October. We're going to probably start it before then, but this is what we're going to be focusing on at Stitch New England in October. Autumn is as joyful. It's amazing. I mean, come on. Look at the turkey at the bottom. Look at the moose. Look at the squirrel. The little squirrel is having a conversation with that moose. It is just the sweetest thing ever. I love it. Absolutely love it. Love those squirrels on the top. I love everything about it. Yeah, love it. So anyway, this is going to get started over the summer, but we're definitely going to be stitching this at Stitch New England. And a few of us were talking on a Zoom with a couple of our friends that are designers, and we're saying how we should rechart it, because this is it's a little bit of a downer quote. We love it, but it's a little bit of a downer. Autumn is joyful and as sweet as an untimely end. Ugh, words. And we're trying to find something that maybe is friends fall together that, yeah, just makes it a little bit happier. So those were my purchases from the Crafty Grimalkin. Yep, breaking my bank. No, breaking my diet for sure. So when I was at Stitch New England the other day, I had to pick up these. I've been waiting for them. As soon as she got them, I was like, yes, I'm getting them. Grandma's Candy Dish. Now, I am a child, like I say. I'm a child of I was born in the 70s, a child of the 80s. This right here, I didn't have any grandmas because both my grandmas passed away from breast cancer before I got to know them. But I had one great grandma and I had two great aunties that were like grandmas. And these bunnies were in their home. And I remember at Easter, they're filled with those jelly beans, right? I would go in and I would snag all of them except for those. I did not like the black licorice ones. But anyway, but I do remember, and it always had that jelly bean smell, right? The box jelly bean smell, because that's what we had. We didn't have any of the fancy jelly beans we have now, but and we would have trees that were hanging that had the eggs. I don't know. So this is just my youth, and it just makes me happy, and I can't wait to stitch it, and yeah, that'll be there. All right, this one, I've done all 3. This is the 4th. Yay, hello spring. I've got fall done, got Christmas, got 4th of July, and now it's time for spring. So maybe this will be my birthday starts, and then I'll actually get to finish it. I don't know. But yeah, I love it. It just makes me happy. So great job, Brenda, with thy needle. This is awesome. So I think the only thing that's going to kill me are those French knots for the robin's eggs. I can handle all the other stitches, but those French knots and I getting a little bit of a fight. So I'm gonna have to watch some tutorials, ladies. All right, so that is my haul. I did order some other things, but they haven't come in yet, so I'll show them when they do get here. But that's my haul. So I'm sure some of you have noticed that the scenery from behind has changed. On Wednesday, I had a stitchy date with my friend Joanne, and she was working on her quilt, and I was working on sewing up these little tiny 4-inch squares. I had to make 4 of each of 5 different patterns. So I had to make 20 little squares. They're 4 inches. And so I did, and then when I finished them, that was all I had left. And so then I could start piecing it together. So I did, and I kept sewing, and I kept sewing, and it was 11:30 at night, and I finished the quilt top. So I will insert a picture, I'll insert a picture here. Is from where it was hanging at the quilt shop. We have a big design wall in the classroom area, and this Thursday was the day we were supposed to sew those little squares. So when I rolled in on Thursday morning, I had finished it because I was up till 11:30 on Wednesday, and I sewed the whole thing together. And once it was up on the wall, we were talking about what some of the other sewers and quilters had seen people post on Facebook and Instagram of people who have done this quilt behind me. And again, if you're new here, I'm working on this quilt. It's called the Barnstar Sampler Quilt, and it's by Shelly Kavana, and this is what it looks like if you had done it in her colorway. Well, I chose to use Nantucket Summer and Dwell, which is 2 lines of fabric that are by the same designer, but they don't exist anymore. Well, they do, but very low quantities and hard to find. But the designer is actually coming out with a new collection called Shoreline, which is, again, very similar. It's got the blues, it's got the greens, in the same color palette. But while it was hanging on the wall at the store, we decided as a group that I'm going to add 2 borders. So I'm going to add an inner border because we want to make sure. I have a queen size bed, and I want it to drape on the bed nicely. And I don't know about the rest of you, but my husband always says that I'm a blanket hogger. I steal. He's like, you take it, and then you roll, and then he's like, you leave me with nothing. So I want to make sure this one's extra wide as well, and that there's some that drapes so that I don't roll and hog. So anyway, I'm going to do a 2-inch border of this blue fabric, and it is the same. It's the same tone as this. And then it's going to be next to this fabric. This is from the Dwell collection, I believe. And it's going to have a 5-inch border. So this will be a 2-inch finished border. This will be a 5-inch finished border. And then the binding is going to be actually done in this as well. So it'll be invisible. You won't really notice it. This was originally purchased to be the backing. So I purchased the amount that it says in the book. So people, if you're going to make this quilt, I hope you do. But if you do, you need to buy more backing. This is not enough. So what I'm going to do is when that new collection Shoreline comes out, the store purchased 108s. So a 108 is 108 inches wide, and then you can get as long as you want, which is perfect for king size beds and things like that. So I am going to purchase the 108 because then I won't have to have it seamed. And then I will, and the 108 is in a navy blue. It's kind of like these 2 colors actually. So it's the darker blue is the base, and then the lighter blue are the flowers. and it's just blue on blue for the backing, and it'll be the floral backing, but the blue on blue. And that's what that backing is going to look like. And I'm so excited. So we were talking about how we're going to quilt it, and I'm going to have the shop quilt it because I don't think I could ever. This is the largest quilt I've ever made. So right now the size of it, and it's horizontal on my wall behind me because I don't have big enough ceilings for it to be. Right now the size is width 79 inches and length 101 inches. And when it's all done, finished with these 2 extra borders, the width will be 92 inches and the length will be 116 inches. Is that right? 115 inches. So I'm excited. I cannot wait to have it. So that backing, we can't do anything until the backing gets here, and the backing doesn't come out until March 30th. So the first couple weeks of April is when it should be here, and then hopefully while I'm on April vacation, it's getting long-armed at the shop. So that'll be great. So fingers crossed on that one. Giveaways. So in my last video, I gave away 5 things. Only one person ended up contacting me, and I sent it right away. So Brigitte, I'm so happy that you got it. She lives in Germany, and I sent it to her. And then there are 4 other people never contacted me. So I'm going to give you until March 1st, which is next Friday. So the 4 people, I'll stream their names at the bottom. Please contact me because you want a needle minder. I will send them out this week as soon as you send me your contact information. Just remember, you have to be 18 years or older. Please live in the United States. I did not say that last time. And get those out to you as soon as you're sending me your information. And you just have to email me at thenewenglandstitcher@gmail.com. I'll make sure that that is in the description as well. And then the next milestone would be 3,000 viewers. So once I have subscribers. So when I get there, we'll come up with a really neat thing to send to you guys. So thank you so much for liking and subscribing and watching my videos. It really does mean a lot. I love this community, and I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks, and I will see you very soon.